May 2023, Samsung's Semiconductor division. In a single month, 3 engineers pasted 3 different artifacts into ChatGPT, proprietary source code, yield defect detection logic, a recording of an internal meeting. Each upload was a debugging shortcut. Each upload made trade secrets resident on a third-party server. Samsung's response was a company-wide ban. The damage was already done. This white paper argues a single thesis. You cannot ban your way to AI security. Prohibition does not curtail use. It drives it underground. The era of the wrapper is over. The only viable path forward is deep AI, private enterprise LLMs deployed inside the corporate virtual private cloud, where data never leaves the perimeter and where sovereignty is architectural, not contractual. Banning birth shadow AI. The numbers are stark. Half of all knowledge workers now operate outside IT governance. 46% say they will not stop, even when banned. 38% admit to uploading sensitive corporate data without employer knowledge. The volume of data flowing into Gen AI apps has increased 30-fold year over year. Source code paste rates have risen 485%. 72% of usage happens through personal accounts the enterprise cannot see. Firewall blocks fail. Employees carry personal supercomputers, phones with 5G hotspots that route around any corporate filter. And the long tail of 317 distinct Gen AI apps tracked by Netscope is too wide to enumerate. Wrappers fail too. The data still leaves the perimeter. The Veriprajna remedy is a 4-layer architecture we call the Yes Safely stack. Layer 1 is infrastructure. The model runs on NVIDIA 100 or H100 GPUs inside the customer's VPC. Kubernetes manages the containers. Egress rules give the inference servers no route to the public internet. The model cannot phone home because the network does not let it. Layer 2 is the model itself. Llama 370 billion provides reasoning capability comparable to GPT-4. Code Llama and StarCoder replace GitHub Copilot for engineering teams that cannot upload source code. Inference is served by vLLM, TGI, or Bento ML, high-throughput engines that saturate the GPU and reduce per-token latency to milliseconds. Layer 3 is the knowledge layer. Retrieval Augmented Generation, version 2. Proprietary documents are ingested, chunked, and embedded into a private vector database, Milvus, Qdrant, or Weaviate, running in the same cluster. Vectors are encrypted at rest with customer-managed keys. Crucially, the vector index stores an access control list alongside every document. When an employee asks about Q3 projections, the system checks the user's Active Directory credentials against the document's CL before retrieval. If the user lacks clearance, the document is excluded, and the model responds, "I cannot access that information." This prevents the flat authorization vulnerability that plagues simple wrappers. Layer 4 is guardrails. NVIDIA NeMo enforces 3 policies in real time. Input scanning redacts personally identifiable information, social security numbers, and credit cards before the prompt reaches the model. Topic control intercepts requests outside the bot's scope. An HR bot asked about database passwords simply refuses. Jailbreak detection blocks prompt injection attempts and do anything now attacks. The entire traversal prompt, scan, retrieval, inference, output runs inside the VPC. No bytes egress. Ever. 3 lines of evidence. First, scale. Samsung's 3 leakage events in a single month demonstrated that one of the most disciplined security organizations in the world could not prevent its own engineers from exfiltrating intellectual property. Banning was the symptom, not the cure. Second, capability. Llama 370 billion now rivals GPT-4 on reasoning benchmarks, with continued pre-training or low R of fine-tuning on the enterprise corpus. Accuracy on domain-specific tasks improves by up to 15%. The model gets sharper the more proprietary data it sees, and that data never leaves the perimeter. Third, economics. Consider a mid-sized enterprise processing 1 billion tokens per month. The public API bill on a GPT-4 class model runs $5,000 to $15,000. The same workload on two 100 GPUs running Llama 370 billion costs $2,000 to $4,000. Self-hosting is 50 to 70% cheaper at scale, with privacy as a free byproduct. Local inference also eliminates the network tax, sub-20 millisecond round trips on the same availability zone, versus public internet latency to U.S. data centers. The strategic pivot is architectural. Contractual security is a promise. Architectural security is a wall. A signed data processing agreement does not change the fact that the U.S. Cloud Act compels American technology companies to surrender data on demand, regardless of where the servers physically sit. A Frankfurt data center, owned by a Delaware corporation, is still a Delaware corporation. A VPC in your own account is your jurisdiction. Wrappers commoditize. Private LLMs build defensible value, fine-tuned weights, encrypted vector indices, sanctioned agents that the enterprise owns and competitors cannot replicate. The conclusion is one line. You do not need to ban AI, you need to own it. This brief, prepared by Veriprajna, lays out the full architecture, the Yes Safely stack, the economics, the Cloud Act analysis, 20 pages, about 26 minutes. We invite you to read it before the next ban memo lands on your desk.